Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. I will be your host, Thrones, bringing you another role-playing build known as the Clockwork Apostle. The Clockwork Apostle, in a nutshell, is a role-playing build intended specifically for a niche casual playstyle, questing around and all-around normal content. It is in no way made for veteran content, and it is not made to min-max, nor is it made for any type of difficult content or veteran dungeons. The build revolves around being, as the name implies, a Clockwork Apostle, who are a devout followers of the Clockwork god called Sorcerer. We are all about utilizing gear sets, giving us a aesthetic that reflects the steampunk and clockwork theme. The Clockwork Apostle can be any race and any class. However, for this instance, I will be using a Dark Elf. As for a class, I will be using a Sorcerer, as the class gives you access to a variety of lightning-themed skills. The Clockwork Apostles are devout followers of the clockwork god, Sorcerer. They reside in the Clockwork Basilia, within the brass fortress of the Clockwork City. Those seeking to become an apostle must possess great expertise in magic, machinery, or some other skill that they deem worthy. Apostles are known to replace their limbs with perfect clockwork parts designed by Sorcerer. They consider this practice to be an expression of faith in their god, as well as means to improve upon what they consider to be flawed biological anatomy. An infrequent observed tradition among the Clockwork Apostles is to enshrine their amputated body parts after replacements. Apostles are often seen as elitists by outsiders, and they are known to delegate menial tasks to others. They follow the sermons of Delrice Morvain, I don't know how to pronounce that name, and devote their work towards one goal: achieving Tamriel final, a new Nirn. And now for the build. For our attributes, we went full Magicka on this one. There is nothing particularly special other than putting everything into Magicka, and for the Mundus stone we're going with the Shadow stone. We are a Sorcerer, one as I said in the intro, as well as a Dark Elf. The Dark Elf bonuses will benefit us or not, it really doesn't matter, as we are all about roleplaying. For our skills, actually no, let us go to our gear first. For our gear, we are using Mechanical Acuity. It is a very easily obtained set. You can get it in Clockwork City. The crafting station is located literally just a little bit south from the Way Shrine you can enter Clockwork City in, and it is called Pavilion of Artifice. I don't know how many traits you need to craft it, I literally forgot, so apologies on that part. The bonus we are interested in is the 5-piece. When you deal non-critical damage, you gain a stack of Mechanical Acuity for 4 seconds, granting you critical strike chance, etc, etc. That's the reason why we are going with a Shadow Mundus stone, so we can benefit a little bit from this. However, the main reason we are using it is literally for the blue effect. It makes your screen going a little bit blue and your whole character goes a little bit transparent with some processor thingies and a little bit mechanical. For the second set, we are using Mad Tinkerer, and it is also a very easily obtained set. You can get either from Overland or Delves in the Clockwork City, but you can also buy it fairly cheaply in guild stores. If you want to go with the cheap route, I recommend crafting it in, getting the Mad Tinker jewelry and then crafting Mechanical Acuity for weapons if you don't want the option, which I will recommend in a second. With the Mechanical Acuity, when you deal damage, summons a Verminious Fabricant that charges the nearest enemy, dealing sharp damage to all enemies in path. This is the reason why I went with the Sorcerer. However, you can also go with the Dragon Knight, and for example, maybe you can also rock Illumbris monster set or Valkyn Scoria for a meteor, or really any other monster set if you want to. However, for this instance I went double ability altering weapons. For the weapons I went with a Silent Lightning Staff front bar. Every second cast of Force Shock will apply Burning, Concussion and Shield status effect. It is fairly, it's just nice to have. However, the reason I'm running it is mainly the fashion it has, and it is dropped in the Asylum trial, which is also tied to the Clockwork City. For the back bar, I am running a Maelstrom Lightning Staff. I am not running any of the perfected versions because, to be fair, I mean, even though I'm in the PTS, I doubt that many players want to have the perfect stuff. However, if you have the perfect one, go with that one. For the Lightning Maelstrom back bar, your light attacks and heavy attacks deal additional damage to enemies that stand in your wall of elements, which in our case is pretty zappy. Very lightning. However, for any alternatives, let's say you do not want to go with the Asylum or any arena weapon set, even though they're pretty easy to get at this point, especially the normal ones, you can always go with the monster set or even some mythics. And even if you don't like the mechanical acuity or the Mad Tinker but still want to go with the lightning theme, you can go full lightning with Aurorian's Thunder, or you can always add Overwhelming, which summons you with a torrent of shock, which deals shock damage and gives you Magicka returned. You can also try out the new set, which is dropped in the Shipwright Regret. When you deal any type of shock damage, you have a 15% chance to deal additional shock damage to the enemy and up to 2 other enemies within 5 meters. It doesn't have a cap, so the more lightning DUTs you have and the more lightning is going on, you can deal even more damage. So if that's what you want to do with, go for it, buddy. You can also go with the Thunder Caller, which when you deal damage with a fully charged heavy attack, you cause bolts of lightning at your target. This is if you go lightning themed, however. Match Touch also adds a little bit of weapon and spell damage to your shock abilities. However, I don't recommend it because it is a fairly small amount of damage, and there are other sets that benefit you much better if you want to go with damage. However, we're going with the effects, or basically the aesthetics some sets offer you. That's the reason why I'm going with the ones I have. For monster sets, you can always go Stormfist or Stormkeeper if you want to mix up some Clockwork and some Dwemer, maybe a combination of those two. However, on this one I will focus only on going Clockwork and making a separate character which is going to be Dwemer themed, a Dwemer Explorer or something, or Dwemer Rune Explorer or a Dwemer Scholar. And yeah, if you want to go with the more summoning route, you can always go with the Maw of the Infernal, or you can always go with another set, maybe Shadowrend, if you want to mix up this theme with a shadowy theme of the whole Clockwork aesthetics. Maybe add some crows, combining Unfathomable Darkness with the mechanical theme. However, I won't be making a different character on that particular theme. You can always try out Elemental Catalyst or whatever. However, if you want to go min-maxing, then this build is not for you. You want to go check out maybe Deltia, you want to go check out Skinny Cheeks, Minotaur, Alcast, anything, because this is a purely role-playing build, which is intended specifically for, well, role-playing, for questing around normal content. It deals fairly nice damage, however, it is not made for veteran content, even though you can technically do veteran content, but you will not get the best results. For the skills, let's start with the back bar. We are slotting Bound Aegis on both bars, because it gives us some extra Magicka for being slotted, and we are getting Minor Resolve, increasing our physical and spell resistance by a certain amount. Then we are slotting Boundless Storm, which gives us even more resistance, with giving us Major Resolve, and this one gives us Minor Resolve, so yeah, fairly tanky. It also gives us Major Expedition for 4 seconds, just a little bit zappy around, and deals a fair amount of lightning damage every 1 second for 30 seconds, which is a very beautiful skill. However, you can always drop it out if you don't feel the need that you need it. Second skill, we are using Critical Surge. The reason we are using this is it gives us Major Brutality and Sorcerer, increasing our damage by 20%. Also, while active, gives us every time we deal critical damage, it heals us for a certain amount of health. In my case, it is 3,366, and with Mechanical Acuity, that amount can go up to 100% of the time, which makes us harder to kill. We're using Wall of Elements, specifically Unstable Wall of Storm, so Wall of Elements, because we're using the Maelstrom backstuff. We're also using Consuming Trap for two reasons. One is for the resources gained, the other one is it is a very nice DOT, and the third reason is it kind of fits the Scholar theme to trap some souls of some beasts or even some men. Why not? For the ultimate, we are running a Thunderous Rage, because more lightning. Who the hell doesn't like lightning? For the execute on the front bar, we are using Endless Fury. It's a beautiful execute, it deals shock damage, and it is... You cannot go to PvP without seeing at least one sorcerer run this to execute enemies. However, also in PvE, it is one of the strongest executes in the game, and it's lightning, so we're gonna go with that. For a spammable, we are using Force Pulse. It deals 3 types of damage. If you don't want this one, then drop out the Asylum stuff. You can always rock, I don't know, maybe Destructive Touch. If you want to go with a damage over time into a new, you want to convert the damage over time of this one into a new effect, and the shock one deals AoE damage as an explosion. However, I'd recommend this one because it deals also damage over time. Either of them are your choice. You can always drop out this one as well, go with the Psychic one. If you want to combo a little bit of the Clockwork with the Psychic theme, you can always go with the Imbued Weapon, and then on the back bar you can always slot on Accelerate. It gives you a little bit more damage, slot out maybe Boundless Storm, and you're gonna be good to go. However, this is a purely Clockwork theme. I will be making a Psychic one also, maybe, sometimes in the future. I'll see, I don't know. For the third skill, we are using Lightning Flood. It is another DOT of shock damage. Fairly simple in that regard, really not too much philosophy. Inner Light gives us Major Savagery and Prophecy, increasing our critical rating by a certain amount and increasing our magic by 5%. However, if you have major skill line a little bit maxed out, you can also go with where is it? Magicka Controller. It increases your max Magicka by 2% additionally for each one slotted, so this is 5%, 2%, 7%, combine this one in 8%, you're gonna have more and more. You can always drop out this one on the back bar instead of this one, maybe go with Entropy, dropping out Critical Surge, since this one also gives you a little bit of Major Sorcery and Brutality. We can always slot in, I don't know, maybe Fire Runes for a little bit more damage without any problem. Maybe something like this. I don't know, this looks wrong. This looks so wrong. However, you know, just playing around, it is a role-playing game build after all, so there's nothing to lose. And by this we have now 5... wait, where is it? Sorry. Now we have 6% even more maximum Magicka for being slotted. If you wanna pack in the Magicka, I recommend either Necropotence if you have a pet. If you don't want to go with a pet, go with Crafty Elfique from North Elsewhere, I think it was. And you can always go with 2 pieces of Willpower set, either in the jewelry or in the weapon. You can always slot in Bright Throat. You can always slot by 1 piece from the monster set, maybe Illumbris, maybe I can't remember other sets that offer you Magicka one. However, if you want to stack maximum Magicka, the limit is around, I don't know, I think maybe 50k-ish Magicka, fully buffed. But I could be wrong, I do have to test that one as well. Maybe I will do it for the Psychic one specifically. Now for... oh yeah, and for the ultimate on this one we're going Power Overload for even more lightning. However, if you want to go with the meteor one, you can always go with the meteor. I recommend shooting star for the ultimate for each enemy hit. However, you can always go with the ice comet, but it is ice damage and we don't like that. And this one gives us 2% additional magic for being slotted, and yeah, currently it's 39k. As for the CP, the greens tree I usually leave everyone to do whatever the heck they want. Also in general, CP that I will recommend are, as I said, it's a role-playing build. It's not min-maxed. Skinny Cheeks, Minotaur, Deltia, Alcaz, go there if you want min-maxing. This is not min-maxing, this is just for fun. I'm using Rationer because buff food, liquid efficiency, potions want 10% not to consume it. Steve's Blessing, a little bit more mobility while walking around the map, you know, in between quests and ads. And I'm going with a Gifted Rider, increasing my mount speed by 2% per stage for increased, mount riding. You can always also go with War Mount, which it removes all stamina costs outside of combat, so you can basically indefinitely sprint on your mount. The blue tree, I went with Fighting Finesse for a little bit more critical damage, Wrathful Strikes for weapon and spell damage, Master at Arms for a little bit of, well, direct damage, and I went with Exploiter for a little bit of damage against enemies that are off balance. So Swear Lightning, and I have my front bar enchanted with Shock Enchant. I will be putting my enemies off balance quite a bit, so I did use that one for the effect. However, you can always go with the Kill It Overload, which whenever you kill an enemy, he will explode and Oblivion damage. However, I do not recommend it this character because, well, you can, honestly, Oblivion damage. Why not? Actually, why not? Go whatever you want, honestly. If you want to go with a little bit more, I don't know, critical damage, go with Backstabber if you're confident you're gonna be behind enemies, but this is only for questing around, so it really doesn't matter what you put it where. On the fitness one, I went health, armor, get stamina back every time you kill an enemy, and Magicka back every time you kill an enemy. You can always drop out the stamina one because it's really unnecessary. I only put it there because I like roll dodging a lot and sprinting a lot in between, so every time I kill an enemy, getting stamina back is really useful for me. However, on this Wind Chaser you can always go with Celerity, which increases your movement speed by 10% even more, so moving in between stuff is really commended. Or you can always go with Refreshing Stride, which gives you even more Magicka and health recovery per stage while just sprinting, so up to 500. And for the Thrill of the Hunt, every time you kill an enemy, this is basically the bonus you get from Vicious Ophidian and False God. If you want to replicate Vicious Ophidian and False God, you can just do it like this. Go Thrill of the Hunt, you can go with Siphoning Strikes for the False God effect, and you can go with Body Renewal for the Vicious Ophidian. And now you have literally Vicious Ophidian and False God at the same time. Even if you if you were wearing False God and Vicious Ophidian, you kind of, since Major Expedition does not stack, just go with Celerity instead, and that way you will be moving around quite fast in between every kill. Yeah, now, let's go for fashion. For our outfit, oh yeah, thank you for the notification, we are using, well, everything is apostle, like the name. It's literally that, even for the stuff, it's just apostle, except the front bar, I left it as it is because it's a unique outfit. If you have any arms pack like Stonekeeper, Engine Guardian, etc, you can go with that one if you like to. I picked the light one because it is a mage for me, but you can always go, try out the other one. The mage one gives your arms the effect of the elbows, that it is actually attached rather than one whole arm with metal on it. The medium one does not have those effects, however it really does look very charming, especially for a medium type or a stamina type of character, but even on the Magicka one it can look very nice. However, I do dislike the heavy one. I do not know why, even though it looks pretty awesome with the bionic. Oh yeah, it looks like bionicle. Oh yeah. Never mind, that's the reason I don't like it. Yeah, but that's purely subjective opinion, honestly, nothing objective. Objectively, you can go whatever the heck you want. If you don't like Apostle fashion, you can always go Refabricated, as Refabricated is also from quote-unquote Clockwork City, from the House of Fabrication. And you can always go with that. However, I do not find it... it's kind of more Dwemery than it is Apostle, in my personal opinion, so yeah. However, if you like it, go for it, buddy. Nobody's stopping you. Do I have any alternatives? Not really, no. No, I don't have any alternatives. Sorry. You can maybe try out Arctezan, but this is Dwemer rather than Clockwork. However, if you want to combine Clockwork and Dwemer, in that case you can always try out Arctezan. I don't know how to pronounce it. You can go with Clockwork, you can go with the Apostle one, you can go with Refabricated, you can go with the Dwemer, you can go with Wayward, but that's one's more nature / Dwemer look and doesn't look clean enough for a elitist quote-unquote build. Anyways guys, thanks for watching and I will see you around.